Hey guys, it's Josh here. And if you're conscious of being anxious all the time and you want to find freedom from your anxiety, then you need to watch this video. I'm about to share with you how I've helped hundreds of people go from anxiety to alignment in their life. And in this video, I'm going to break down our 3-step method. I'm going to show you exactly how we've helped over 250 people overcome their anxiety, build self-confidence, and really just find mind, body, spirit alignment. So I'm not going to waste any time. Let's just get stuck straight into it. The purpose of this video is to show you what I do and how I can help. So you might not expect me to say this, but shifting your consciousness is the easiest, simplest, and fastest way to overcome your struggles in your life, your work, and your relationships. Most people think that they need to change the external world, but when you work on changing the internal world, everything will shift a lot faster. Your beliefs and the way that you think about the world directly impact the experiences you have and the emotions that you feel. So recent studies in quantum science are beginning to prove just how interconnected our mind, body, and world really is. Another example is a field of study called neuroimmunology, which just shows you exactly how your thoughts and your beliefs can change the chemicals and hormones in your body. For example, if you start to think anxious thoughts, your body is going to start to experience stress, cortisol, adrenaline in the body. So your thoughts create chemicals in the body. Your thoughts create the feeling, and that's how it gets into a loop. So this is really the power of your mind. And in this video, I'm going to map out the exact 3-step method we use to help people transform their anxiety into alignment and become a conscious creator of reality. Now, this is just so important, especially in this day and age. It's 2025, AI is taking over, and it's only going to get worse. Human consciousness is important. It's so important. It's really going to be the only thing that we have moving forward. So it's important that you learn how to control your consciousness. So let me just get straight to the point because I know your time is valuable. This method that I'm going to share with you is the exact same method we used to help Tom, who was a CEO, recently separated, struggling with substance abuse, anxiety, and he was getting really impatient with his daughter as well. Right? Through our work together, he managed to get completely sober. He ended up getting back with his partner, and then they got married, and then she fell pregnant, and they've actually just had their kid. I keep in touch with Tom. They've just had their kid, a little boy, and business is booming. So he achieved all of this, a massive transformation through our work together, and you can see Tom's testimonial and review there. Now, this video is for you if you're waking up anxious with negative thoughts and even struggling to get out of bed sometimes. You're constantly feeling stressed, exhausted, and burnt out. Your relationships are starting to feel strained because you're struggling to be present, open, and honest. You're overthinking everything, stuck in your head, and this is causing you to procrastinate on things you need to do. You feel like shit, basically, and you know that there's so much more potential for you. If you're someone who's starting to notice that the negative emotions are becoming a problem and you just want to get back to your happy, calm, confident self, if you really just want to fulfill your potential, then this could be the most important video that you watch this year. I want you to imagine this for a second. Imagine that you actually look forward to the days and weeks ahead. You feel clear, relaxed, and at ease within your mind and body. Your relationships are places where you experience peace and love and connection, and you're confident in living the way that you actually want to be living. You really don't need to experience that pit of dread in your stomach, right? I know what it's like. I've talked to many people before who have had that. I've had that myself. You don't need to hide your true self from your loved ones. If you're watching this video, that may be something that you're doing. You're not being totally honest or truthful or open with people. You don't need to continue to just keep pushing through the stress, the anxiety, and the exhaustion. You can finally break free from that toxic cycle of negative self-talk. This is exactly what we helped Ryan with, right? Ryan's a lawyer from Melbourne in Australia, and he started working with me when he had a lot of anxiety and self-doubt, and he had low self-confidence, right? Once we did a lot of work together, he developed high self-confidence, right? He became more confident to communicate the way that he wanted to say what he wanted to say. And he found more purpose in his career, and he became a lot more disciplined and self-aware. He now says that, if any feelings of anxiety arise, he has the tools to manage it. So the truth is, the reason why I'm making this video and why I do this work is because I've been there myself, right? Knowing that there's got to be something else, but not knowing what that is exactly. I dedicated over 15 years of my life to understanding human nature so I could live in alignment with myself. And now it's my mission to help as many people as I can do the same. Because let's be honest, you don't want to live a life that's just miserable. You don't want to live a life of fear. You want to live a life where you feel happy. You want to live a life where you're in alignment with your true values and your true self, where you feel like you're actually fulfilling your potential as a human being, right? If you're like me, that's what you want, right? I don't want to live in fear. I don't want to live a miserable life. I want to live an abundant, peaceful, happy life, right? And that's why I do this work now. You may have tried everything, right? You may have, been to the doctors. You may have had medication. You may have tried psychologists. And all of that seems somewhat like a wasted effort, right? You may have even read the books, listened to the podcasts, but it's just not clicking for you. You've probably got a million voices in your head that just leave you more confused every time you try to change, right? We've got social media these days, and everyone is just out there spouting their 2 cents. And to a degree, that's what I'm doing right now as well. However, the difference with me is that I have a proven and tested system that has helped hundreds of people, right? I have plenty of reviews to prove that this works. And often my clients will end up just stopping everything else that they're doing and focusing 100% on this method because it's just a no bullshit path that actually works. So if you want a no bullshit path that actually works, then, this is going to be great for you, right? Again, you want a clear, no bullshit plan to focus on so that you can actually quickly and easily overcome your anxiety. If that's what you want, then that's what I can give you, right? If what I've shared so far resonates with your experience, then keep watching because you're the kind of person I can help. The results people get with us is really boosted confidence and high self-worth, a new sense of calm and inner peace, like really feeling at peace and balanced within your mind and your body. It's very common for people to develop happier and more loving, healthy relationships through our work, and also just to feel a stronger sense of purpose and alignment in your life. So let me give you a little bit of a background into who I am and how I got into this line of work in the first place. If you don't already know me and my story, my name is Josh Holiday. When I was 17, I was struggling with anxiety, right? And I had a lot of mental health issues. I was overthinking. I'm probably undiagnosed ADHD. I've never gone and checked. But I had this kind of existential crisis when I was 17 years old. I didn't want to go into medication, but at the same time, I was scared of my own mind. So I started looking online for solutions and I found meditation. So I started practicing meditation at only 17 years of age. Don't ask me how that came to be. I really don't know. I'm blessed. It was a miracle that I started so young, right? Now, just because I started meditation didn't mean that everything, was clear skies. I still had issues with drinking and doing drugs actually through my early 20s. Right? We had alcoholism in our family. That was a bit of a problem. It was very prevalent in my environment. And in 2018, I had been meditating for about 7 years, but I was still struggling with the drinking, right? I had this unresolved emotional trauma, from my old man drinking a lot, right? I had a relationship breakdown. I hit rock bottom and I really felt hopeless, right? I also lost a job. This all happened in 2018. And I really kind of hit this rock bottom moment where I realized that I just wanted to fulfill my potential and actually find purpose in my life. So I made the decision to go sober, right? And now this was something that I had tried multiple times before, but it just never worked. I would try to take a month off drinking, or I would try to take a few weeks off drinking or a few months, and it just would never work. I would take a few weeks and then I'd go back and I'd go back and I'd keep going back and back. But in 2018, I made a decision to go sober for a full year. And that really reset my life because all of 2019, I was sober. And this is when everything really started to change for me. This was, along with the meditation, going sober was one of the most incredible things that I ever did. Right. So in 2020, I became a meditation teacher. Right. After I'd gone sober, I got clear in the mind. I decided to become a meditation teacher because during COVID, I realized there was a problem with stress and anxiety. And I also realized that I had a unique skill set with meditation. So I became a meditation teacher. And after 10 years of practicing, I started helping people deal with their own stress and anxiety. And this was another pivotal point. Fast forward a couple of years, I got married, became a parent. And I started my business, right? Teaching and coaching people, right? So this is really when I found purpose in my life. And I became a husband and a father. But at the same time, there was pressure to grow the business and to provide for my new family. So learning to manage the business and the marriage and everything, it was a big shift for me. And it brought up a lot more unresolved childhood trauma to work through, okay? And so I did that. In 2022, 2023, I was working on myself a lot whilst growing the business, becoming a parent, becoming a father, becoming a husband, all those kinds of things, right? And in 2024, things really came into alignment, right? I started to become very confident in my purpose. I had a happy and healthy family. I had a lot of successful clients in my business. I felt like I had mind, body, spirit alignment within myself, which is very important as a teacher to be in integrity. And I really found freedom in my life, right? But enough about me, because you probably don't really care that much about me. Here's what really matters, right? The people that I help. The people that I help is the other things that really matter. And this is Shannon, right? Shannon's business owner from the Sunshine Coast, started working with me because her anxiety was starting to mess with her relationships. She has a husband and kids and runs her own business as well. And the anxiety was starting to really mess with her. She said she would, start the week on a Sunday and just be dreading the week ahead. She just really was dreading the week ahead. She wasn't being able to be present in her relationships or just in her life in general. And it was becoming a problem. So we started working together and all of that changed. Rach, another great review here. If you want to pause the video and just read this, you can. But I've helped Rach to develop a greater sense of peace and confidence in her life, right? To really become aware of the thought patterns, the negative patterns that were running her life, and to change them, to shift them, and develop a greater sense of peace and confidence, right? You can read that if you like by pausing the video, but I'm going to carry on to the next one. And we've also got Elijah, same thing, feeling very stuck in life. Had a moment where he had enough of being a victim to his life and decided to join. And since then, completely turned everything around. So that's another great review. And again, this is what's actually important. This is what I really care about. It's helping people because that's just what it's all about. So you're probably wondering at this point about this method and how does it all work? So let me walk you through the method, right? This is our consciousness shifting method, and it's a 3-part process, okay? So I'm going to walk you through these 3 parts now, so you'll understand how to shift your consciousness using this method. And the first thing we need to focus on is regulating your nervous system. So when people first start working with me, they are extremely stressed and extremely anxious, right? They're usually struggling with overthinking, negative thoughts, tiredness, exhaustion, and they're just out of whack. So the first thing that we need to do is to bring them back into balance, okay? There's this thing that you have which is called homeostasis. Homeostasis is basically the body's balance, right? And if you're experiencing high levels of anxiety and stress, you're not in balance. You are not in homeostasis, right? You have a dysregulated nervous system. And the first thing that we do is we just bring you back into a regulated nervous system by reducing the stress and anxiety fast. The way that we do that is through habits, routines. I give you a personalized plan. I teach you some tools, right? We dive into meditation, mindfulness. I teach you everything that I've learned over 15 years of my practice, and it's really life-changing. That alone will change your life. But once we've done that, we then focus on step 2, which is reprogramming your subconscious mind. So this is about easily changing those negative belief systems. You've probably got negative belief systems, negative recurring thoughts in your mind. And what we want to do is reprogram them. your life, again, will be determined by your beliefs. So if your beliefs aren't conducive to a good, healthy, happy, abundant life, you won't live a good, happy, healthy, and abundant life. So we need to reprogram the subconscious mind because that's where all of your beliefs are stored. Okay, so we need to reprogram and rewire the mind so that you don't just keep coming back to the same problem over and over again. So that's step 2. And then step 3 is to finally master your energetic state. So this is to heal emotional trauma. Now, some people will say, I don't have any trauma, right? But everyone has their stuff and we don't want to dwell on it. I'm not about dwelling on it, right? This is how we are a little bit different to psychologists and counselors and therapists, right? I'm a coach and a mentor who helps you have a forward focus, a solutions-based focus. However, it is helpful to understand your emotional trauma from the past, to understand why you are the way that you are, and then find peace with the past, find peace with your regrets, find peace with your shame or your guilt that you're carrying. And when you do that, you master your energetic state. And when you combine all of these 3 steps, you create mind, body, and spirit alignment, and you become a conscious creator of your reality. And this is where it starts to get really fun because then you can just create whatever kind of reality that you want for yourself. And I'm not just saying that. If you go back and read through the reviews, people have really transformed their lives, and that's what it's all about. So here are some more reviews, right, of people who have transformed their life through working with us, right? These are just reviews that I've taken off Google. Everyone's left us 5-star reviews on Google. You can go on Google Mind Launch if you want to find all of these 5-star reviews. I've basically just screenshotted them here and put them here just as proof. This stuff works. We've replicated it over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. So again, it's a proven and tested process that works. So if you're ready to transform your anxiety, build your self-confidence, and find alignment in your life, then book a call with me using the link below, and I'll personally help you build a plan to transform your anxiety into alignment by shifting your consciousness. So I don't always have availability in my calendar for these calls just due to my personal capacity. So if you're seeing this and I do have availability in the calendar, then go and book now, right? Don't let this be another one of those times where regret just stacks up in the back of your mind because you've missed out on an opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to totally transform your anxiety into alignment and get your life back. So book the call, let's talk, and we'll get started on transforming your life. I'll see you soon.